Alright, Beyond the Blue, RC. Got my Traxxas UDR on the bench again. Decided I am going to upgrade to the metal front drive shaft. I just do not like that thing being plastic. Since I haven't driven it yet, I might as well get in there and replace it while things are still nice and clean. So there's the part number, 8556X. Center front steel drive shaft. So basically you get a couple drive cups and a dog bone. Much better than the stock setup, which is plastic. It's just terrible. So I've already removed the 4 screws in there to drop my diff. So I'll do that. And then I removed the 2 screws there, loosened up the set screw for my sway bar on each side, so I can get this skid plate off. Tuck these screws out too. So yep, now I got to flip her over and get the skid plate off. Alright, so I have skid plates off, as you can see. Diff is off, so that's exposed. That's the transmission. Now there is a screw in there. It's this screw right here. There's a screw actually inside here that you have to take out. And once you take that screw out, I mean, just hold your drive shaft, and then you'll be able to unscrew that screw. And then once you do that, you just gotta shimmy this kind of like this, back and forth. Go, and that'll pop. I don't know if I got that on camera or not, but just kind of shimmy it back and forth, and it pops out. There you go. Pretty cool. So thinking this is plastic too. Yeah, this is plastic too. Okay. And then on your diff over here, you got this screw here. It's like a pin screw that has to come out. So that's not the right driver. Let's see, this one over here. If I do this one-handed, probably not. I have to put this down like this, maybe. It's not really working. I have to set the camera down for a second here. There we go. Just unscrewing this here like that, and this will pop out or pull out, and then your drive shaft just pulls out. There you go. That's all taken care of. Now, what I need to do is lube up my new stuff with some grease and install it. So that's going to go, that's going to replace that. Obviously that's the dog bone, excuse me, that's the dog bone, and now There's the drive cup. And there's the drive cup. So we'll get all this lubed up here and then we'll go from there. Alright, so I got grease. I got grease on it. We're just going to pop her in here. Now that slid out nicely. Look how easy that is to get it back off. Not bad at all, actually. Slide her back on there. There we go. Alright, and that's all there is to that. Now I'm just going to put a little bit of Loctite on my screw that I pulled out of there, and then we'll tighten that in. Put that in and tighten it down. Alright, now you want to put your drive cup on here, but you want to make sure that the little hole, the smaller hole, you want to make sure that's on the bottom. Bigger hole's on the top. Because, I'll show you in a minute, but that's just how the so you're going to put your drive cup on here, just like that, more or less. Now, what you're going to do is there we go. Okay. Sometimes I like to go left a little bit and hear it click, and then screw it in. Now I need to hold on to it with the other hand here, but so what I need to do for a second here. Alright. So I'm just gonna finish screwing it in. See you feel it. Seat. There we go. Okay. Now, I'm just going to wipe up the extra Loctite here. There we go. Okay. That's sticking out a little bit there. Well, that's going to be a problem or not. Let's see. No, I don't think so. It's kind of weird though. Don't necessarily need it sticking out that far. So I'm going to back it off a little bit actually. I mean, it's not hitting or anything. That's weird. Interesting. I don't know. I think I'm just going to tighten it the rest of the way down. Because, I mean, it's not, and the steering doesn't come anywhere near it, so. Guess it should be fine. Yeah, I guess that's fine. Alright. Alright, well, I figured while I was at it, I lubed up my drive shafts. And drive cups for the diff, front diff. Because, and I'm just using some Traxxas lithium grease. Because, well, I figured, well, might as well do that while I have it apart. So that's done. Now we just got to put it back together. Alright, so now this is nice and tight. I did use this tool right here. To wedge kind of in here. Because it was a little loose. So we'll use that to wedge it in there like that. And I was able to hold it and get it nice and tight. So that's good as well. Now we got to throw the drive shaft in there and line everything up. You can kind of see the drive shaft there. The drive shaft's in. There's the drive cup. Right, kind of where my flashlight's shining there. So, just had to align my drive cups up so they're both facing the same direction, same way. So I had them both kind of level with the ground there. Let's put my dog boat in, and just everything slid in quite nicely. So, yeah, it looks pretty good. There's that one there. So, it looks pretty good. Everything's spinning like it should. Yeah, I feel a lot better about that. That should have been done from the factory. From Traxxas. That should be should not be an upgrade. That should be in there. That plastic drive shaft's awful. This plastic drive shaft. This is all plastic. This entire thing is plastic. I thought maybe this was metal, but no, this is all plastic. Ugh. Number one upgrade to do is that. If you do anything, upgrade that to a metal drive shaft. Seriously. Alright, now I can start putting her back together. I wasn't going to, but I think I'm going to upgrade the servo horn too. I did get a hot racing one. I was just going to have it as a spare, but I think I'm going to upgrade that tonight too. Since I have all this apart, I might as well. Alright, that was a little tricky, but I got it. Just had to do one side at a time. Slide my drive shaft in as I'm turning the tire, and just kind of, and then put the top pin in. Or I think I put the bottom pin in first. and then the top pin, and then I did the other side. And then I realized that I forgot to put my brace on there, so then I had to take these pins. Well, these are actually the top pins, and these are actually the bottom pins. I just have the truck upside down. So anyway, I had to pull these top pins for the upper arms out so I could put the brace back in, then put these pins back in again. So yeah, got it. On to the next. I got everything buttoned up here. My pins got the covers on them. The upper arms have lower arms have them all locked up. These covers are, these two screws are tight. This tight. That's tight. My pins are secure. My hinge pins. I also, let's see, installed my screws to secure my tie rods here. So they're good to go. Now I gotta install the 4 screws. Well, first I gotta flip her back over, install the 4 screws to secure the front diff to the cage here. Alright, secured my front diff to the cage here, chassis, whatever you want to call it. All 4 screws are in. So now I'll flip it back over and install the skid plate, although I may actually do the servo now, actually. Do the servo horn first. Yeah, I'll do the servo horn first. Alright, now we're on to the hot racing fixed link steering with 25 tooth servo arm. So that's what we're going to install now. I'm sure I'm going to have to lock tight these screws right here. I'm sure they're not Loctite. I'm sure they haven't been had a Loctite applied to them. But before we do that, we got to get to these screws here. Let's see. There we go. Okay. And then this one over here. Alright. And what that's going to do is it's going to loosen up my mount here. That one's not fully, this one's not fully out yet. I'm sure it's close. Yeah, it was close. Alright, so that one's out. Alright, and then this is gonna come out. And then what I need to do is take this out so I can get, I need to take that screw out so I can get rid of this assembly here. Pretty straightforward. Here is the actual link in the servo horn. This was not Loctite, so you put a little bit of Loctite on this screw. I put a little bit on this one, and screwed it down. Then I actually backed it off some and put a drop down in here, and then screwed it back down, and then just loosened it just slightly so that it falls. So you don't want it to bind, so you want to kind of do that. You want the screw to be snug, but you don't want it to bind. So you want it to kind of fall like that. So that's why you gotta use Loctite when you're screwing metal screws into metal components. Otherwise, you're going to lose screws when you run these things. Just bound to happen. So, any blue Loctite will do. This is what I'm using. I got this at Ace Hardware, I think. But you can get blue third lock anywhere, Walmart, any hardware store, any automotive store, like, I don't know, AutoZone or whatever. Pretty easy to come by stuff, so no excuse to not use that stuff, guys. Alright, so now we're going to install this on the actual servo here. So I'm just going to kind of line it up. There we go. And press it on. Just like that. And then I'm going to screw that screw down. Oops. I'm going to screw that screw down. Let's see how it looks. How does it look here? It looks slightly off. I can actually, since I have the app, the Bluetooth connected to this thing, I might be able to do a little bit of get the endpoints, make some adjustments on the app. So let's get this screwed down. You're gonna want to use the screw out of here and just put a little bit of Loctite. I didn't put any Loctite on this screw, so that is going into a metal. Traxxas didn't put any Loctite on this screw, and it is going into a metal gear there. So yeah, I think I'm gonna put just a little bit of Loctite, not a lot, just a little bit. All right, so what you want to do, there's the servo horn hooked up with the link installed. What you want to do, if you have the Bluetooth module on your transmitter installed, which I do, what you want to do is go into your app. You'll have the main screen up, and you want to go into Garage, and you want to go Channel Setup, Steering, and you'll see Sub Trim, and that's what I adjusted. Alright, so I got about 5.5% left on my sub trim. So you want about a 90-degree angle with the servo there. It looks like we got, looks even throw to me. Alright. That looks pretty good. So now we're going to, let me just go back out. Fairly simple. Like that. I do like this app, especially because you can check your, keeps track of your batteries capacity. So I do like that function of the app. I have a aftermarket Spectrum DX5 Rugged, but I think I'm going to keep the Traxxas because I like being able to know where my battery level is, especially if I'm out on the trail. since this takes 2 batteries, and I don't have I only have 2 3S batteries for this truck. So I mean, I have 2 2S batteries, but I don't really want to run this on 2S, but I guess I could. But anyway, kind of getting off topic here. But now we can start buttoning her up. Reinstall the servo and all that good stuff. She's installed. Looking pretty good. Nice 90-degree angle with that servo horn has with the servo itself. Looks pretty good. Yep. Looks real good. Let's see. Zoom out some here. We can. No binding all the way to the left, no binding all the way to the right. So it's all, this whole entire steering assembly is now, all metal. Metal links, metal steering links, metal steering assembly, metal servo horn, metal servo link. So steering should be pretty rock solid on this truck now. Now I just have to put it back together. So all my skid plates on, and screw everything nice and tight. Alright, finally finished. Looking pretty good. I mean, it's all powered up. They actually got a full metal steering assembly. Metal steering assembly, metal steering links, metal servo arm and link coming off the servo itself. Pretty good. Steering actually looks pretty dead on. I mean, I won't know until I drive it. I need to give a little trim or not. But not getting any binding from the servo. Not getting any funny noises. So that's good. I did forget to mention that while I was installing the new servo arm, I did zero out my steering trim. So you want to do that as well. And the new drive shaft looks pretty good too. Alright. Well, beyond the blue RC, if you enjoy watching this video, please like, subscribe, keep on RCing out there.